is enough, and it's time for a change.
Hey, yo.
My life, my money, my legacy.
A major stipulation added to the WWE Universal Championship match at Fastlane. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wrestling Never Sleeps podcast. I am your boy, Jared Never Sleeps, alongside with my very, very, very handsome co-host, the straight shoot in a suit, Mr. Adam Anthony James Martin. Adam, how are you doing on this wonderful Friday evening or Saturday morning, depending on what time zone you're in?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for having me back each and every week so we get to review and recap, Raw, AEW's Dynamite, and, of course,
Evolve,
the episode of Friday Night SmackDown. So
there's some developments here.
Before we dive into anything, what the hell did we watch tonight? And did anything really develop out of the 2 hours that we spent the time watching whatever the hell it was that we watched?
Yeah, and again, we say it every week. They're just kind of like trying to find something in between that time with WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble, and we're just kind of going nowhere. They're just treading water. So this is brutal to watch. This was brutal to watch, honestly. Especially, I feel like we had a lot of exciting wrestling this week. And then you think WWE would come with the power and the force because, Vince McMahon is a competitor, but I can say the SmackDown kind of tanked out.
I agree 100%. Would you say that Raw was better than SmackDown this week?
Oh my gosh. Well, damn. Yeah, and I know, right? Isn't that horrible? Well, I guess SmackDown wins by default. But I guess it's like saying who's the nicest guy in jail. It's
the fact that I had to ask you was bad enough, right?
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah,
it's terrible.
But I mean, I guess the big storyline coming out of this show was the new stipulation they're adding to the Fastlane match for the Universal title. So basically, they're gonna have Edge versus Jey Uso on SmackDown next week, and then the winner gets to be the special guest enforcer for the Fastlane match. It's an interesting stipulation, but how we got here does not make any type of sense. I'm still trying to figure out why Edge is upset with Daniel Bryan. Where's the beef there? Daniel Bryan just trying to get a championship match. That's all he wants. Edge's spot is locked in. He won the Royal Rumble. He's going to be in the main event of WrestleMania. So what does he care what Daniel Bryan's doing in between now and the show of shows? Does this make any sense? Or am I interpreting this wrong or something? Or
if it was coming from like a squeaky clean kind of guy that had the background of a saint,
right? Like John Cena,
like
or
not
something.
Someone from Edge, like
not the ultimate opportunist, right?
Exactly. Someone that has done much worse back in the day, especially when he had the money in the briefcase,
Yeah.
He picked a spot. He waited for the dead man to be done, I think once or twice at least.
And Elimination Chamber. Remember when Kofi Kingston is going to walk in the chamber, he beats up Kofi Kingston, gets in, locks himself in the pod, and he ends up winning. Like he's the ultimate opportunist. So it's kind of hypocritical when he's saying to Daniel Bryan, like, "Oh, you're trying to weasel your way in, and I don't like the way you went about things." Like, what are you talking about? You're Edge.
You're the rated R superstar. Exactly. You took Lita from Matt Hardy. Like, come on.
Right.
But
the
way they got there doesn't make sense, and the fact that he is originally complaining about it to begin with doesn't make sense. Like you said, he's already locked in. He's got his spot at WrestleMania. It doesn't matter who he faces. He should be thrilled either way that he's back from injury. Similar story to Daniel Bryan. He's locked in. He's got the WrestleMania main event. So the storytelling here just didn't get through to me. I can feel that it didn't get through to you. I'm sure it didn't get through to a lot of our listeners out there as well. Was there anyone, on Twitter or anything?
I'll check on Twitter, but And I felt like it would be kind of easier if they went with the angle of maybe, okay, Edge he's been around for so long. He got injured. He had to retire as champ. So they could have made me, if they wanted to make sense, they could have went with the angle that Edge actually wants to fight the legitimate big dog in wrestling, the best guy in the industry, which would be Roman Reigns. And then his focus is on Roman Reigns, but Daniel Bryan kind of feels slighted about that or something like that. Maybe that would make a little bit more sense. Like make Daniel Bryan has animosity towards Edge for slighting him. Like, hey, I want to fight you too. Like, no, you're not. You are the B plus player or something like that. But I guess that would turn Edge heel probably in the fans' eye. But it just didn't make sense the way they got about it. But I do like the part where when they're doing the contract signing. And then Daniel Bryan manipulates Roman Reigns, and his facial acting was actually really, really good. He had that line where he said something to the effect of, "Oh, I'm the only person that can tap out Jey Uso." So he's going back to the I Quit match, and then you can see Roman's face, like, because at first he
wasn't reacting.
At first he didn't want to, have the match, and then when he said that, he's like, the insecurity of Roman Reigns, like, all right, fine, I'll beat you. So I think that was kind of cool. But
that was cool too, and I was going to say that too. The one good thing that really stands out for Daniel Bryan is his mic skills right now.
Yeah,
and that is the manipulation. Even though he is a face, back in the day, a face would rarely manipulate their opponent in any way, shape, or form. Right? They were squeaky clean, like I said that before.
Right.
But today, you have someone like Daniel Bryan who's so good at playing both sides that he can just use that talent to basically worm his way into, getting the opportunity to even get a chance to fighting Reigns at Fastlane. And now he's got that title match locked up at Fastlane, and he had to, again, manipulate Reigns to get his feeling for it again, to get his, his mojo in order and, get the competitive spirit at the, out of the head of the table. So,
right. Yeah.
That was cool to see again. That was cool. And the cool thing out of the whole thing as well is now, a match that we never thought maybe we never get to see is Edge versus Jey Uso.
We never thought we'd see that, but I never even thought about seeing that. Honestly, this guy has been in a tag team his whole career. No slight at Jey Uso. I just never thought
tag team guys.
Yeah, it's not a dream match but it's an interesting matchup and it's something new that the WWE universe has not seen. So I'm all for like new stuff, new matchups. That's what we always complain about, right? So
that's what Jey Uso now.
Yeah, main event Uso. I like that tagline. His name just main event now. Let's read some tweets from fans. If you guys want to join the conversation on our shows, make sure you use the hashtag WrestlingNeverSleeps and also follow us on Twitter at WNS_TV. At Gina HK2 says, I actually love this Daniel Bryan promo to open up the show. Yeah, it was a cool. I guess a decent back and forth between him and Edge, even though it didn't make any type of sense. Then we have at Charlene556, Roman Reigns, please destroy Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. So what the interesting thing about Roman Reigns is that fans have hated him for so long, and now that he's a bad guy, they love him. Like, so it's kind of like, is he still a babyface? Kind of, if people are going to cheer for him, then he's kind of a face, but he's a heel.
Yeah, it's kind of like Austin, right? When Austin was after Austin came out of his shell of being the ringmaster,
right?
That poor gimmick, and then he was allowed to be himself. He was the anti-hero against Bret Hart originally, right? When they first met.
Yeah.
And then, coming out of the second time they met, he was hated so much that you just can't help but love him. And then it flipped. They almost did the double switch.
Yeah. Well, I think smart fans really appreciate performance. When someone's just really good at being a heel, they end up turning face because it's like, okay, you're so bad that you're good. We love you.
Can't help it, right?
Yeah, he's the embodiment of that. At Mike JBK Knows says, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania would be dope. Honestly, hashtag triple threat match, hashtag WWE, hashtag Wrestling Never Sleeps. And I think that this is the direction that they're going, to be honest.
Triple threat.
I think that's what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna. I'm not going to complain about it, but I think it kind of craps on Edge. It craps on Edge a little bit to add Daniel Bryan.
Credibility. Their
But
belief in him.
yeah, but I could see potentially this is what I think might happen, and this probably would make sense, and maybe that's why it's not going to happen. But what if Daniel Bryan turns heel? Because he's kind of playing the ultimate opportunist type of character. He's trying to weasel his way into championship matches. And then also the other thing is if it's a triple threat match, you have two heels and a babyface. That means you can get the belt off of Roman Reigns without him taking the loss. He just pins Daniel Bryan or submits Daniel Bryan. And there you are. Edge is the champion. You get the moment there. Roman Reigns remains strong. And then Daniel Bryan probably fades into the sunset, and we'll see him like every couple times a year.
Before we get into Edge potentially being champion out of this whole outcome here or scenario,
Right. Yeah.
What are we going to do with Jey Uso if that happens with the triple threat? Do you not see a fatal four-way somehow?
Oh, for the championship at WrestleMania? I don't think they put. I mean, Jey Uso's doing great work. I don't think they put him in the championship mat at WrestleMania. No, I can see a triple threat. They don't need it, but it would make sense to get the belt off of Roman Reigns if they wanted to do that.
If they wanted to do that, yeah. And now let's go back to this possibility of Edge being champion out of this whole outcome, as you laid out nicely in the scenario here.
That was decent booking, was it not?
Do we want to see Edge world champion one more time over top of these other guys that are busting their ass off nonstop 24/7, 365 days a week compared to a guy that we feel sorry for, that has had his moment, that has passed his prime? Are we just hang on to something that that potentially we don't really need?
Should I answer it? Is that rhetorical? Because I have an answer for it.
Let's answer. Let's give it.
I mean, personally,
that's what I'm asking.
And those who are listening, definitely join the conversation. Use the hashtag WrestlingNeverSleeps and leave some comments for us. Should Edge be a champion in 2021? Personally, to me, I believe that it would be. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great if Edge was the world champion again. The story comes full circle. It's a story, kind of long-term booking that he had to retire the champion. It's a championship he never lost technically. And we've been watching this character evolve and grow and have to change and overcome things for, almost 30 years. So I think for storytelling sake, it would be awesome for Edge to be the world champion. And a lot of people are going to compare it to, like, let's say Goldberg winning. I think that's a little bit different because we don't like Goldberg. Goldberg is not on Raw and SmackDown every week. He's not popping up at NXT. Yeah. Goldberg is not doing a SmackDown, match next week. So it's a little bit different because Edge is definitely he's a wrestler, and Goldberg is just there to just get a check. So, what do you think? Do you want to see Edge as a champion again, or are you leaving on Roman? No,
I don't.
Give him Edge.
It would be a magical moment in history. It would be the rose on top of the gravestone of a Hall of Fame career. I don't want to see it. I like to see him get the opportunity and help him, establish somebody else, even more so than what they already are. Someone like Roman Reigns to just beat him, which would be cool. I think that just solidifies Roman even more so. Who else is going to come back after that? Who else do they have in the vault that could potentially come back, put on a good match at WrestleMania with Roman Reigns, win or lose after Edge? Like, who do they have?
Well, I just see Edge being like a fighter.
Back off of Edge because he's going to be done quickly after that.
I see him being a fighting champion, and you get so many other matchups as Edge is a champion in 2021. You could do right after you can do Edge and, let's say, I don't know, Sami Zayn. You can do. You
don't think Roman's going to get his rematch though, and then lose again?
Well, Roman's gonna slow cook somewhere. He's gonna maybe go on a tag team with Jey Uso. Do that for a little bit, maybe elevates the tag team titles. He'll get by SummerSlam. He'll be in the mix again, and I'm cool
Jimmy's coming back.
See, and then there's the dynamic of that, and then Jimmy comes back. So yeah. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
I think Jey Uso is thinking about what Edge said potentially, and maybe that's why he wants to be the enforcer to call the match right down the middle. so that maybe even this match with Daniel Bryan, we'll see hints of maybe a turning back on Roman.
Yeah.
Closer and closer as Jimmy gets to his comeback time.
Yeah, and then that's probably what happened because WWE can't help themselves. They can't like let things grow and materialize. They have to it has to be a feud within a month. That's it. Just make it jumbled. So Edge calls out Daniel Bryan. We have the Street Profits and the Mysterios versus Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Alpha Academy. Yeah. I think I wrote on this match, good way to give a bunch of guys some TV time that had nothing to do. And that's how I felt about it. Like, again, I have all the respect in the world for the people that are the performers in the ring, but this match was kind of like, just throw them out there and just give them something to do. Cause there's no direction. I mean, I feel like the tag team titles don't feel important.
No, not at all. This match to me just didn't make any sense. I can see what they were trying to do by giving the Street Profits the win over, one half of the tag team champions to set up the future tag team championship match that they've been begging for and crying for and wanting to rematch for forever now, which seems just give them the thing, get it over with. Let's get on with this. A couple things. Dawkins actually looked pretty good tonight.
Yeah,
especially with his
athletic.
Higher, very athletic. Otis, of course, his strength and his newfound aggression was on point again. So I really like that. They had a hot tag, and then they went to commercial break. So I said, fuck me. What are we doing here, boys? We're gonna start round 2 of the match. It was basically 2 matches in one. And I get it. You got 4 tag teams out there, so why not have 2 matches in one?
Yeah.
Okay. But a hot tag and then the commercial, and then next thing you know, what was it? Ford gets the win over Rude.
Yeah.
And again, it just sets up for for the future tag team championship match. So did they really was this really needed? No. But again, like you said, it gave some guys, some really good, talented guys in regards to Ziggler, Rude.
Love Dolph Ziggler.
Both of them are phenomenal. And of course, Chad Gable's pretty talented. I just don't like what they've done with him forever.
Mm-mm.
And it was a snoozer.
Yeah, I would say that. It was just like a lot of athletic spots from the guys like Ziggler and Gable and the Street Profits. They just had the story, like, no one cares about this match. It's just like, oh, okay, these guys are here. Like, who cares? It's like whatever. So switching gears, moving forward, we had Cesaro versus Murphy with Seth Rollins at commentary. And how do you feel about the I guess Seth Rollins kind of has another gimmick change. He's like the Embrace Division guy. He went from the Messiah to the Embrace Division guy. How do you feel about the Seth Rollins attitude change, I guess, or gimmick change?
I've been bored of it.
Yeah.
Even before he did this change on SmackDown and like this whole thing when he came back, it's just been done before. He's personally done it before, basically.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. Tyler Black was such a great talent and had so much potential, and what Seth Rollins has become since the Shield.
Yeah. Well, the Authority run was good. I like the Authority stuff, Seth Rollins, when he was facing
because he was working alongside guys like Triple H, and he had Glenn Jacobs, like Kane.
Yeah.
It was just an odd pairing, but it worked so well, and his attitude towards everybody else while in that group was just awesome, because Triple H was like rubbing off off of him, which was cool. But ever since that, he's just been the same old monotonous.
Yeah. I wrote in my notes, they are not allowing Seth Rollins to do what he's great at. He's not having any matches, which he's great in ring. And he's a heel, but he's just like an annoying heel I don't want to see. And it's so disrespectful. Seth Rollins is a multi-time WWE champion. He's a Royal Rumble winner. He had the best cash in of all time with Money in the Bank. And it's like I don't even want to see this guy on my screen. It's it's definitely go away heat with Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Every time he's on the mic now, just
Yeah,
Charlie Brown teacher comes
yeah,
out. And like I said, just monotonous and redundant and the same thing over and over again. It's like riding a carousel, listening to that music over and over and over and over again.
yeah.
You know, it runs out real quick. But that's maybe not his fault because
It's
again,
not
there's
his
so
fault.
much
Yeah,
talent.
yeah.
But again, writing from WWE and his limitations.
And I'm not like again. I think we spoke about this last week. I'm not really. I love Cesaro and I love that he's actually getting an opportunity to do something with his talent because he's been a guy that's been underrated and underutilized for very long. But I don't care about this feud. That's why when I said, I think I said a couple weeks ago, it'd been nice if Cesaro kind of tagged with Seth Rollins for a little bit. And then I feel like the WWE tag team titles would actually mean something because you have Seth Rollins attached to it. And then when the heel turn does happen or the turn does happen, it's more meaningful. And you can go into that awesome SummerSlam feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins, something like that. And then it means something. But now it's like WWE always does, they put this feud together like just way too fast in the wrong way, where it's like, I don't know, do you care about this feud or is it just me?
No, they definitely rushed the whole backstory. They pushed it right to the front line.
Yeah.
It's cool that they have a great, a backstory with each other and stuff like that, kind of similar to Sheamus and
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre,
Yeah.
but they're slow burning that. And they're
As they
letting that
should.
backstory slowly unfold and develop in front of our eyes. It's not just being like, oh, these guys have a misunderstanding and this is why they have that misunderstanding. Now they're in this war that you have to be invested in. No, we don't have to give two shits about it because there's nothing proven between these two that
Stupid.
have stood out
Seth
to
Rollins
create
is
a
mad
great
because
feud
Cesaro didn't
with a
listen to his speech.
rival, a big pay-per-view match.
Yeah. And then the biggest sin in this is that Murphy's just collateral damage. He's getting jobbed out every week because of this feud between Cesaro and Seth Rollins that nobody cares about.
I was gonna say even when Murphy was doing the attacking and Cesaro was on the defensive,
Yeah.
he still looked so strong. He wasn't selling like he normally would. He was a man on a mission. He dominated every step of the way. Like I said, even when he was taking a attack from Murphy,
Yeah.
it just didn't do anything, no effect. He was just a one-man train moving forward no matter what on one track, right to Seth Rollins. But Seth outsmarted him and got the upper hand. And if it wasn't for that one official that stuffed the shot with the chair over Cesaro's head right before he was about to jump, he
Yeah.
basically caught him in midair. He would have squeezed out like a ketchup pack. So
How do you think you would have because I know a lot of times they can't keep the same people in the main event card. I'm speaking on Seth Rollins. He's a main eventer. So now he has to do something else because the main event space is not his time right now. How would you have used Seth Rollins right now in on SmackDown?
I like this feud. I like the matchup with
Yeah,
Cesaro.
yeah,
It gives Cesaro time to shine as well against a key player, a former champion.
mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins was the man for quite some time before Reigns was.
Yeah,
So I like this matchup. It's just how they've created the story. So I would have just done the story a little bit better or more efficiently or something along those lines rather than something completely different for him right now.
yeah. And then they're teasing like the kind of like maybe Shinsuke Nakamura is now in.
That I was gonna say Shinsuke might get involved now too, and that was a cool little meet and greet there that they had, face to
Yeah,
face, and Shinsuke just being Shinsuke, just giving him the stink eye, and Seth kind of confused, not intimidated, but a little standoffish, probably coming down from his little moment out there in the ring with Cesaro, but wouldn't that be a great match?
I think they're gonna make Shinsuke like Rollins lackey. Like he's gonna make him his uh hired help or something. I
Kind of
can
like
see that
Murphy
happening.
was.
Yeah. which is so disrespectful to Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, golly.
Didn't Cesaro and Nakamura used to be a tag team?
They used to be a tag team, yeah.
So maybe he helps out Cesaro.
He helps the babyface. Cesaro will be the babyface then. Yeah, we'll see. What do you think? What do you guys think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to do in this feud? Let us know in the comments.
Because Seth has Murphy again.
No, remember he said Murphy was like, "Hey, I can help you," and Seth Rollins was like, "Nah, bro, I'm good." Like last week.
Yeah, whether he wants to or not, Murphy's doing his bidding so far, right?
Because it doesn't have to make sense in WWE. Well, of course not. Yeah, they don't make sense anyway. They just, there's no continuity with the stories. Speaking of no continuity with the stories, let's talk about.
I'm gonna let you take this one.
Why? Please. I'm gonna make a Make-A-Wish account, and I'm gonna say, dear WWE, you have Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, and probably one of the main events of WrestleMania. They're two great athletes. They're two generational talents. Could you guys please just write a coherent storyline for them? No Reginald, no Nia and Shayna Baszler, just two people who claim to be the best going after a championship. And what we got instead was, first we started off this night with a vignette, a video package of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Well, Nia Jax taking Reginald shopping, and Reginald gets a suit, and he's just like, "Oh wow!" And that thing was way too long. It was like 5 minutes long. Like we could have got the whole idea in 20 seconds. Not to mention it's stupid comedy. So Reginald goes shopping with Nia Jax. He gets a brand new suit, and he's like, "Oh, this is so nice. How can I repay you?" And then they cut to Nia's face, and she's just smiling. So she's gonna want some type of favor, like mess up the whole dynamic between Sasha and Bianca, or whatever. So then later on in the night, we get to the KO show, and KO has the guest of Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and they're essentially having the same promo that they do every single week. I'm the best, I'm the boss, and no, you aren't. I'm the best, I'm the boss. And then, this kind of spills out into a match between Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Natalya, and Tamina, who are wearing red and black for some reason, with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax on commentary. So after like a little match, the Reginald, he has a distraction. He cost Bianca Belair the match. And then Bianca and Sasha are fighting and saying, "You lost the match. No, you lost the match." And none of this makes sense. This is all stupid. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this?
If I had the answers, I would be, I don't know what I'd do with them, but it wouldn't be with it.
Right. This is the best we can do to get here.
The highlight of this whole segment was just Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens just instigating this whole segment and boiling it over and getting it to a point where, it almost looked like the two were going to start to, clash before Fastlane. But then all of a sudden, Tamina and Natalya came out, and I was like, "Oh, here comes another women's tag team to interrupt the segment." Yeah. And then all of a sudden, we were going to commercial break, and we come back from the break, and now it's a match. And it wasn't fine.
Yeah.
She said, if it wasn't for Sasha edging Reggie on and getting him involved, and
she hasn't been, and she's married. I don't understand this.
Dismissing him the way that she did, abruptly and rudely.
What was she supposed to do?
Smack across the face.
What else was she supposed to do?
The barricade. I saw it. You saw it. Everyone saw it. But still, nonetheless, the man shouldn't be there to begin with. That's besides the point. But
what else do you want Sasha to do?
This doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Again, Bianca wasn't wrong. That he's been a distraction for Sasha, which cost them the match tonight, which now leads to a one-on-one match between Banks and Nia Jax for the women's championship.
Yeah.
Plus, they still now have to coexist after arguing after tonight's loss at Fastlane to, even try to win the championships against a team that they've already lost to.
Speaking of those championships,
Did I get that right? I mean, is this just me?
Yeah, you got it right. I just picture like a WWE creative writing meeting, and the first thing they say is like, "All right, guys, this does not have to make any sense." That's the rules of the WWE Creative Fight Club. Number one, it doesn't have to make sense. But man, those tag team titles, since NXT's women just got tag team titles, so it's like this tag team thing is over.
Their champions didn't even last an hour.
Yeah, the tag team titles are going to mean absolutely nothing, and they haven't won. They haven't met. The only time they were kind of relevant is when Sasha and Bayley were the golden role models, in my opinion. That was the only time is like meant anything for those titles. But golly. But yeah, I was really excited to see this from the Royal Rumble. I was really excited to see this matchup, and I think a lot of people were. And this is just taking a turn from the worst. I could dare I say that Bayley versus Bianca Belair was a better rivalry than what they have with this.
Oh yes,
with the obstacle course and everything.
Yeah, it's too
no
bad.
Bayley this episode. There's no Bayley this episode.
I know. My favorite program wasn't even on the episode.
Ding dong.
Hello.
I love Bayley.
Hello. Not there. That was really disappointing to see Bayley, because she is one of the highlights of the show. But they did have the KO show in its place. You couldn't have both segments on there, so I kind of get why maybe she wasn't doing.
I know Carmella. Carmella would just kind of. I know she must be pissed. She went from like debuting again. She had 2 championship matches, and then she just off TV now. Yeah, that's it.
Reginald from her.
They took Reginald. Right. Wasted. So moving forward, I know you're really like you're loving this feud. We had Big E versus Sami Zayn to start it off, but let's talk about let's just talk about the match. I know we got to get to the Apollo Crews stuff.
Let's get to. Can we start off before the match?
Yeah, go ahead.
With Big E doing a wicked promo.
Mm-hmm.
Getting really heightened up, intensity, everything pumping, blood pumping, sweat pouring. He's getting real emotional, almost tears coming out because he felt threatened of his career, his livelihood, and what he loves to do could have been taken away from him due to injury caused by Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Him coming back, calling him out and not getting the call out, but then all of a sudden, King Corbin, not Baron Corbin. King Corbin. Sorry, Mr. Corbin. Won't happen again. Comes out. And as he's approaching and willing to accept this open invitational that, Big E was so generous of throwing out there for his Intercontinental Championship due to, Apollo Crews not wanting to show up at that moment. Wink, wink. Out comes Sami. And right before Corbin says, I accept. And Sami goes, I got it. It's mine. I accept.
I love Sami.
These two have been bickering back and forth in like this Abbott Costello kind of way. That
it's working, though. You called it. It's working. It's working.
I know. It's working because it's just so.
It's Sami, though. It's because it's Sami. Sami make anything work.
I think Corbin kind of does too, just with his reactions to Sami's obnoxiousness and his wild ideas and crazy minded ways. But King Corbin's so serious and he's loosening up a little bit to the point where you can kind of think of him as almost a comedy character now with Sami.
Yeah.
Because every time he goes to do something serious, he can't help but say something serious, but that I can't help take funny.
Right.
You again, come on, man, get out of here. And you can just tell it's eating him up alive. It's disturbing the shit out of him. It's, irritating the hell out of him. And Sami doesn't see it, right? And Sami's just there for the
idiot. Yeah, he plays that character so well, man.
Very well. It's beautiful.
Very
good. Very good. The match itself, though. What did you think of that?
The match was, it's what I expect out of Big E and Sami Zayn. Pretty decent back and forth. It's because it's WWE, it's pretty much projected we're going to see Apollo Crews come out of nowhere, which we did. So I was just looking for that. But yeah, I really love the potential that they have for intercontinental rivalry for WrestleMania, Apollo versus Big E.
I think it's a very cool idea. I think it'd be great, especially for not both competitors also, but the IC championship. It's meaning a lot more with Big E being the holder of that belt, and then now a guy like Apollo Crews coming up. I don't know, we're kind of just within the last month, not even last 3 or 4 weeks, really shining and being a real threat to that title from Big E. His first real opposition since having that championship belt or since winning it. And it's kind of far from like left field. We didn't really see this Apollo Crews come to form until it literally just happened in front of our eyes. We didn't really project it. He did everything so well, the way that he did it the first week that he attacked Big E, and then this week as well, being the chicken shit by not coming out, and then after Big E decimates Samian. Sorry, Samian, but you got beat pretty bad. Big E looked really good in his return, and you hear the music from Apollo, and all of a sudden, another jump from behind.
Yeah.
So did it really develop this story? No. We already knew that these two had bad blood now. Big E was talking about before the match. And all it did to me for me, I think everyone should feel the same way, is that it just intensified a feud that we already know is going to be a blood feud. It's getting to that boiling point now. So we already know it's going to be a blood feud now. It's personal.
Yeah.
But now it's almost at a boiling point. So I like what happened here.
And that's exactly the type of storytelling you want out of professional wrestling. I think this feud is pretty good. It's a great mid-card feud. Yeah. Even like it wasn't really too much of when this feud started. It wasn't really much of a babyface thing to do. But it just kind of worked for the feud when Apollo came to Big E, he was like, I want another title match. And then Big E was like, no, get in the back of the line, like go to catering or something. Like he just kind of like, it was very heelish, but it makes sense because it's like, yo, bro, you don't deserve anything. Like, get out of here. Let me start my match.
You gotta earn it.
That was cool because it was kind of like an element of realism to it because Apollo Crews has been held down for so long. So you could tell that he kind of feels a certain way, like damn, like, all right, I gotta get in my grind. I gotta do whatever I need to do to get to the top. So that's when he attacks Big E, just out of like, he kind of has to get noticed.
Yep.
So I think the whole way the story is being told, it's really, really awesome that they're doing it the way they're doing it. No, and sure. Yeah, I just think it's awesome. And then the other thing is I'll say is that when Paul Heyman was like the head writer of Raw, Apollo Crews was supposed to be one of his guys, and then he got fired. So then he went back down. Yes. So Apollo Crews has had this type of talent and performance for a lot of time, and we just haven't been able to see it. So like, how much does this guy have in him that we haven't even been able to see because they just haven't been using him up until now? Like, that's actually scary to think about. Like, I don't know if you watch Talking Smack, but Paul Heyman speaks so highly of Apollo Crews. He's like, this guy can be like a top tier main event guy. Like for Paul Heyman to say that, it must mean something for sure.
Well, as we know, Paul Heyman has a gift to take an athlete that nobody else wants, nobody else sees anything in, and turning that athlete into a superstar. Yeah, making the smallest guy on your roster the most feared guy on your roster. Taking someone like that, like Taz. Yeah. Back in ECW. Sorry, my voice is going now.
It's all good. Okay, Jim Ross at Revolution.
My voice is definitely going, but someone like Taz, or someone like the Pitbulls, or someone like Mikey Whipwreck, or a plastic head and Al Snow, making them a superstar. Paul Heyman is projected, great talent at an early stage in that athlete's career. Yeah. And we've seen guys like Brock Lesnar since he's taken him under his wing.
Everybody.
Doesn't work with everyone. I was gonna say it doesn't work with like
like Michael McGillicuddy. Yeah.
It didn't work with
Cesaro was a Paul Heyman guy first. Michael McGillicuddy was a Paul Heyman guy. I would love to see him with Asuka. Damn it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if he switched direction.
Yeah.
Left managing a guy or a male and then went to Asuka's side if she sticks around for much longer. But
you know what I would love to see?
What's that?
At WrestleMania, I would love to see Big E defeat Apollo Crews. The next night on Raw, the next SmackDown, that real red hot SmackDown, I would like to see a WrestleMania rematch where then Apollo Crews wins the title, and then Big E can go on and just fight Roman Reigns if Roman Reigns happens to be the champion at the time. I think that would be like, everyone has been made better from the matches and the feuds, and now Big E has something to do.
I thought you were going with the Roman Reigns direction too for Big E because he's due. It's not like the Kofi push.
Yeah.
Because Big E, in my opinion, is a better in-ring, better on mic.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Kofi's matches. They're
more
trash.
Well-deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's just a better athlete in-ring.
Yeah. He's the only one that could stand alone. If you put Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston and made them singles wrestlers, they would be buried. They have to stay together. Big E's like really the only one that can stand alone, and hold his own.
They're too small.
Yeah.
And Big E matches really, really good with Roman Reigns. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be awesome.
Right.
Actually, especially for something for like SummerSlam.
Something for SummerSlam would be good. And then Apollo Crews gets to be IC champion. And that could be a lot of great matches, a lot of great feuds with his new character. So
huge.
They always have options, but they always choose the dumbest options.
They don't go the best route all the time. That's proven fact.
No. But we got to give them credit when they do something well. And I guess the Apollo Crews Big E thing is doing well.
Best thing on the show.
Yeah, I would say so. And then the Roman Reigns thing is getting carried because it's Roman Reigns. They're using big names, but the storytelling is bad. Same thing with Sasha Bianca Belair. Big names, but the storytelling is really, really bad.
Same with
and that's no slight. There's no slight. Yeah, right. There's no slight at the performers at all. They're doing their thing. It's just that the material they're working with is just bad. But how would you rate this show? How would you rate the Raw tonight?
Actually, though, before I go into the rating, one cool thing they did bring up again was the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, Molly Holly is the first Hall of Famer. Yeah.
What do you think about her going in? Do you think she's earned it? Do you think she's done enough in her career to?
Yeah, she's
that women's division to
well deserved
herself or catapult herself in the Hall of Fame.
Well deserved. This whole women's divas evolution thing. You have to say she's one of the pioneers of this. Just the fact that she laid the roads and the groundwork for these women to get top billing and top. I won't say top storylines, but because for what we're seeing now, but yeah, Molly Holly absolutely should be a WWE Hall of Famer in my humble opinion.
Yeah, because she had the Holly cousin run with Aaron O'Grady, who rest in peace was Crash.
Yeah,
Bob Holly, that trio there, and then she went on to the Rights to Censor thing. Mm-hmm. I believe
she was in the first Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she was involved in that. She's a former WWE or a women's champion.
Yeah.
So and she like I said was part of that whole group of like Trish, Lita, Molly, Jazz, Ivory. When women were starting to be looked at as more than just a bra and panties type of role or a managerial seductress kind of role for the men that were competing in the ring. But Lita and Trish and like I said, Molly and even China, of course. That whole group of women laid out the road for the women that we see now, essentially. So
and she's from what I'm reading on Twitter and stuff, she's like a great colleague to work with. Everyone enjoyed her backstage. So yeah, well deserved. Congratulations to Molly Holly, the 2021 WWE Hall of Fame class. While we're at current events, Andrade wants his release. Let's talk about that.
If that's true, huge loss for the WWE and a talent just wasted.
Yeah. Yep.
That guy could be world champion in either brand.
Yep.
He's so good.
But Vincent, his thing with like accents and foreigners, since he's not too strong on the microphone because he doesn't speak English well. And then they fired his mouthpiece. So there we are. Here we are with it.
Yeah, she's going to the opposition.
Possibly they're talking about that. I don't know when that 90-day clause is gonna expire, but
Yeah, I think she's already in talks with
yeah.
the opposition there. So that would be good for her just to get back in there because she's awesome. She's good in ring and as a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So
How do you think this affects Charlotte Flair going forward?
I don't think she has anything to deal with. Obviously, she's going to be challenging Oscar for the championship.
Yeah.
She's got nothing to worry about. She's a Flair.
Yeah, her whole I don't think she can go anywhere because she has no reason to go anywhere. And she's Charlotte Flair. I don't think she wants to start back as Ashley Flair somewhere else, So
Not at all.
But how would you rate tonight's show? How would you grade tonight's SmackDown?
Put me on the hot spot.
It's not an A. It's not an A.
It's not even a B.
It's not a B. It's not an F. I wouldn't call it an F.
D plus.
A D plus.
C minus.
C minus show.
Yeah.
C minus show.
Yep.
Yeah. Drag to watch, especially like we watched so much exciting wrestling this week, and then to end it with this, it's like, yeesh. Oh, but I would say it's like a C minus.
Yeah, the only good thing about getting a bad grade this week is that it can potentially only go up from here.
It can only go up from here.
So
yeah, that is true.
There's the positive side of this. Although their show tonight wasn't the best, far from it.
Yeah,
they have a lot of work to do to fix it, and it's not going to happen just week by week. It's going to happen, month by month.
Yeah,
and it's going to be across the board for all three of their shows. At this point, they all suck, and they're
sadly they're not going to fix it.
Potential,
and they're not going to fix it.
Especially SmackDown, Raw. You're on a league of your own. You're in a totally different sport right now, let alone ballpark. But you can't just say, "Hey, hope for the best." They have the talent, they have the capabilities. They just need a structure, a formula that they have yet to find. Where AEW has found that formula now, finally, after a year and whatever it's taken them to do that.
Yeah,
WWE, in my opinion, is behind again, just like they were with WCW, but in a totally different way and to a totally different audience. So now they have to rejuvenate, they have to restructure themselves to do what they did before. But again, you're catering to a totally different audience.
They're not going to fix it. They're not going to fix it.
I hope they do.
I could be a chef and I could have the best restaurant, and I make the best seafood, and I make I have the best plates and all that stuff. But there's still never going to be any type of way where I can compete with McDonald's. And that's what WWE is now. It's just a McDonald's. It's fast food wrestling. It's get it out the window fast. Don't put any thought to it. It's regular. It's not like it's the lowest grade meat, but we can make it fast. And that's all their goal is nowadays. It's not going to be it's never going to be good again.
Taco Bell meat.
It's Taco Bell meat. Yeah, this is Taco Bell wrestling pretty much. So the 5-star meals cannot compete with McDonald's at the end of the day when it comes to business. So as long as there is a wrestling industry, no one's going to be able to compete with WWE. Not even the billionaire company next door down the street. So, but that wraps up our show. What do you guys think of SmackDown this week? let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll try to reply to as many as we can. But that's our show. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram.com/WrestlingNeverSleeps and Facebook.com/WrestlingNeverSleeps, Twitter.com/WNS_TV. For my very handsome co-host, Adam Atkins, on the street, shoot in a suit, I am your boy, Jared Never Sleeps. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, it's still real to me, damn it.
You suck. Cheers.
Till next time. Peace.